Alrighty, I'm back. We're going to talk about partnerships. Alrighty, for moms in their 40s. And I keep talking about menopause and depression, and here's the reason why. When I came across partnerships, I had actually been going through menopause. I was going through menopause and depression, and it's not something that was ever really talked about, especially if you come from a Latina background. That stuff you don't even talk about, and we all just avoid it, right? The topic. So, that being said, I had gotten off of HRT 3 years ago and I hit menopause. Um, and HRT, if you don't know what it is, it's hormone replacement therapy. And what that pretty much does is because I had a hysterectomy at 32, it pretty much replaces your uterus as best as it can because your body no longer produces the hormones that it used to having the uterus there. So, that being said, 3 years ago, I told my doctor, like, I no longer want to be on these shots. And he's like, alrighty, like your body's going to change. Things are going to, and I was like, alrighty, which, yeah, I went through depression. In my 40s and I was super busy launching 3 businesses and I was stressed to the max. So that being said, I ended up partnering up with some companies and I found products that actually helped me. And through those products, I actually was able to monetize. Not only were they products I could use for fitness, but they also had products that I can use as a woman in my 40s going through menopause because I'm gonna tell you something, like, I don't need the same kind of products that a girl in her 20s and 30s is gonna need, and that is okay. It's okay to say that, okay? And it's okay to use products that are gonna be tailored towards what I need and my body. So I am good with that. I don't want to just go, to Walmart, to Costco and just grab random stuff and hope that it's going to work. No, I want products that are going to be cleaner, that are going to be safer for my body. And when I started actually doing the research as far as why did I hit depression? What exactly was depression? A lot of people don't know what depression is. That is when I was like, wait a minute, these are things we need to know. These are things we need to talk about. It's a chemical imbalance, and it's not anything that is really it. A lot of people tend to make it seem like it's bad taboo, and it's not. All it is the fact that, come on, let's be honest. In this given day, we are on fight or flight mode. That being said, our nervous system is always shot. So, our brain is just after a while burnt out and it's just like, what's next? What's next? And that's pretty much where we end up hitting depression. And it took a lot of research, it took a lot of reading on my part because I wanted to find ways that were going to help me. So that is pretty much how I started monetizing, not only through my fitness journey, but also through my health, my fitness. Just, it was great. You know what I mean? Like, and it was so easy and simple. And the fact that I was able to monetize on it as a single mom, going through 3 other projects, as far as business ventures, that helps supplement my income so much. And I know moms are always asking me, like, hey, should I go back to school? Should I? You don't need to go back to school. You don't. Obviously, what we want is to be able to make enough money to be able to survive, right? To be able to breathe. You don't need schooling for that. And I know it's so hard for moms to believe, but you don't need a piece of paper to make you feel like you're going to breathe. You need to know who you are, what you want. And through these partnerships, that allows you to actually excel. It doesn't put a cap on who you are, it doesn't put a cap even on how much you earn. Because honestly, coming from someone who also has her degree, Chicken Joe and I, um, it's paying $30,000 for a piece of paper that's only going to get you a 50-cent raise throughout your 5-year span. That's not that's not happiness, I can tell you that. And that was that I came from a government aspect. And after a while, it's like, wait a minute, this is the highest I'm going to get. Like, and does this actually even align with who I am, my morals, my values, and what I'm here to do? And it didn't. And I'm so glad it didn't, because this allows me to actually pour value into moms. Over the last 6 years, I will say, if I wouldn't have been fired during COVID, like, of course, a lot of us were affected during COVID, but I feel like that was my opportunity to actually be like, hey, what are you going to do with yourself? Sink or swim, girl. And I shocked the heck out of myself, honestly. I invested in so many mentors, and I look back now and I'm like, that's what I needed. We needed that little push. The struggle has got to get to the point where we're so fed up. We're like, we're tired of this. We see more on the other side. Like, we want that. That is possible. There's a calling for more. Like, you want to help people, you want to help them obtain their goals. Like, what's sad is the other day, since we're on the topic, right? This will end up coming out in shorts, but let me get comfy. The other day, we went to my old employer. Um, and to be honest with you, like, because we had to do business there. But in the past, I would be like terrified, you know, um, just because when I left, it wasn't on good terms. And I would be terrified. I would make myself sick. And the other day when we went, I was at peace, if that makes sense. I just, I felt great because I was like, you know what? This was just a stepping stone. Like, sometimes we have to go through those moments where it's like, I don't think I like how things are going here, so that we can actually see our full potential. And that's where I'm like, I needed that, because I knew being there, like, this couldn't be it. There had to be more. Like, I wanted there to be more. And that was it. And I wanted to share that the other day, and I totally forgot about that story. But I wish more moms knew to not live in fear and subjected to an income, like an income cap. I get it. We feel like, man, because I didn't go to school, I can't make more money. That's not even true. Um, and I do get some moms who it's like, well, Martita, I have my kids. Your kids aren't a burden. Your kids were a blessing. Your kid, like, regardless, your kids weren't going to hold you back, but you had to prove to yourself that they weren't the reason or the excuse you were going to use to hold you back. And if it wasn't going to be your kids, it was going to be something else. But what you have to do is just free yourself from that judgment. There's really like no right or wrong way. It's okay if you had kids before whoever set a time frame. It's okay. You just keep moving. You just say, this is part of my journey. This is it. Vámonos, ching su madre. Like, you're not going to stop. Um, and just take it. Like, it just is what it is, free of judgment. And when you do, you start embracing life and living it up to its full potential, which is so liberating. And I wish so many moms understood that. But I'm going to keep sharing that. So if you come across this, share it. And I'm going to keep telling moms too. Okay.